Good afternoon. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now, April 28, 2026. Israel is facing problems in Lebanon because Hezbollah drones sent by Iran, pose a technological and defensive challenge for Israeli troops. Family, your comments. Let's get started. Family, good afternoon and welcome to Military Strategies. It's not a fantasy. This is not clickbait. We have a problem. We have a serious problem. Israel has a problem, and it's with what you're seeing right now here exclusively on Military Strategies. Drones mounted on a chassis with anti-tank grenades, hunting IDF soldiers, and inside Lebanon. The horrific images. There have already been casualties, there have been injuries, there are vehicles that have been destroyed. And it's a challenge. Because these drones are not just any drones, they are drones that are impossible to disable with electronic warfare. Drones that carry fiber optic cable, with a spool of up to 60 kilometers, and they are unstoppable. We've been seeing it in the last few hours, and we also have exclusive images, tunnels as well. Arsenals inside of tunnels in Lebanon, explosions. Incredible videos, ambushes. Today we're going all in. Today we're here on Military Strategies about what's happening in Lebanon. Welcome, family. Thank you so much for joining us live. Sorry, my voice is really bad. You know the level we've maintained with these live streams for the past 2.5 years. One of these days, the body will say, enough, and it'll catch up with me. Problems with drones in Lebanon. A pretty complicated situation. Not just because of that. This doesn't start here. The story we're going to tell you doesn't start here. And be careful, because what's happening right now. This also happens in Colombia. It happens in Mexico. It happens in Ukraine. It happens in Africa and in many places. A civilian technology that was meant to provide entertainment to the population. I love drones. I have a drone. I like to fly it. I enjoy it. You can get some incredible shots with them. It has become a nightmare for international terrorism. These drones, as you can see, transmit video. In real time, they carry an explosive payload capable of attacking an armored tank at its weakest points, disabling it, and even taking out the crew. We can even see here how they try to hide from these drones by deploying smoke screens, but it's practically impossible. What we're seeing here, which operates day and night, even with thermal cameras, is a real nightmare. But the story doesn't start here. The story doesn't start in Lebanon. Already on October 7th, in limited numbers, but very effectively, Hamas used drones to destroy the security perimeter of Israel's security and alert systems. We could say that drones have been perhaps also responsible for the major security failure of what happened in Israel on October 7th. The towers with automatic machine guns were disabled with those drones. They would position themselves right above, drop a grenade, and the system would no longer work. The cameras were also attacked by these drones. That started 2.5 years ago. But we have to leave Lebanon. To understand this story, we have to leave. To know where they come from, to know where this threat comes from. In Ukraine and Russia, during that war, the good and the bad of this world were shaped. Please watch this video and pay attention to the ones we'll watch next. Because what we're going to explain here is living history. The art of war has changed. Drones have changed the way war is fought. There are no more trenches. There are no more bunkers. There are no more warehouses or structures to hide in. It looks like something out of Terminator. Flying machines hunting human beings. This image you see is a field in Ukraine. All those cables you see are fiber optic cables from the drones. Hundreds of drones launched to eliminate the enemy. "15 kilometers. This pool has 15 kilometers of cable. And it's immune to radio frequency electronic warfare. It can't be jammed. The signal can't be blocked. There are even people who find ways somehow to try to avoid this. Look at the places this drone can get into in Ukraine. Inside military bases or places where the troops are hiding. I repeat, there's nowhere to hide. But it's even worse. The thing is, it's even worse. Take a look at this video. Soldiers walk by the drone and glance at it. They think it's deactivated. Texting up Nikolai. They think the danger has passed and that the drone has been shot down. Subtitles by Nikolai. Sorpresa. Footage from Ukraine. Ambushes with drones. Attacks from all sides, from every direction, in swarms, and all at once. This is what Israel now has to face. A new war. I won't continue with the video because it's better left to the imagination. But how does all this work? Coils up to 60 kilometers long, purchased from Chinese distributors, mounted on chassis from kits that are sold anywhere, to image modules via fiber optics, and launched at high altitude. There we can see it. And we're talking kilometers, 20, 30, 60 kilometers. A drone that can go up to 60 kilometers price of the device, less than $200. $200. And he's using his flying more and more. Every day, these kinds of attacks are seen more and more in Lebanon. For example, Costa, on the border with Israel. Are they launching the drone at you? And where you least expect it, that's where it appears. Incredible. Very, very, very incredible. Some soldiers even, and this is going to blow your mind. Some soldiers, they've even come up with some ways to get rid of them. But look at what the fields look like after using them. Swarms of drones to stop and advance the enemy. Kilometers and kilometers of fields, fields full of fiber optic cables, everywhere. In a kind of war of the future, where Israel, right now, today, it seems from the images we've seen, it lacks a clear solution to these threats. These drones, which fly low, can be hidden anywhere and pose an incredible challenge for Israel. Take a look at this video. It's impressive. This is Ukraine. A drone is in a bizarre situation. A victim. A soldier. He's hiding, crouched down, praying that the drone doesn't see him. The drone is getting close. You can hear it. There it is. It's a kind of war from the future. It flies right past him and doesn't see him. It's carrying a white spool with the fiber optic line coming out of it. The soldier quickly comes out. He desperately looks for the thread. He grabs some scissors. The kind used for medical emergencies. He cuts the thread. And pay attention. Look in the background. Impressive. Grab some scissors and cut to save a life. Crazy. Look at this. A vehicle. Drones are coming out of it. Ready to attack. The war of the machines. What about the sniper? it's going to disappear in a while. What we're seeing is terrifying. Actually, even more so. The psychological effect these have on soldiers is terrible. Before, you knew that you could relax in the rear. Let's give some examples so that people can really understand this and know what we're talking about. The video is impressive. You can cut it with scissors. People now go to the battlefield with shotguns to shoot down drones. That's happening. That's happening. That's happening. There are different options, different things that we're going to talk about now, we're going to discuss. But all of this is very striking. Why fiber? Why that fiber? Why that? It's as thin as a hair. It doesn't weigh. What you're seeing here doesn't weigh anything. That filament you see is like a hair. The weight it has is minimal. We're saying controlling weight is what's important. The grenade already has a weight, plus the device, plus the spool, plus the batteries. That's why it's used. A regular cable that was thicker, no. Boom. It would be a problem. But be careful, because Israel isn't the only one dealing with this kind of problem. No. Victoria, United States of America, Iraq, Victoria Base. Yeah. Militias. Here we see it. For hours, attacks were being carried out with this type of drone, and the Americans couldn't do anything about it. Esconders, hiding in the bunkers, hiding. The drones were roaming around the base, incluso de los misiles y de los drones, using the same technique, using the same format, even assessing the damage caused by missiles and drones. And now you might ask, how does the cable not get tangled? It doesn't matter, it's never going to pull at any point, because there are 30 kilometers of cable inside, which means it never gets tight at any point. Oh, poor. Unless it gets cut by some edge, or by some piece of metal, or by... This doesn't turn off. It only turns off when the battery runs out. Be careful. They keep adding bigger batteries and making the drones larger. There you can see them. The other day in Colombia, he was doing this. By the way, today we have a really exciting day. A really exciting day. The other day, this was found in Colombia. The same system prepared to install the fiber optic cable and be launched. Everything begins with what you'll see next. This is the frame. This is the skeleton, made of carbon or of lightweight materials. It can be printed on a 3D printer. It can be made from polymer. Super lightweight. You can buy it in parts. I'm not going to give more details, but the cost of the whole operation is more than $300. It's not a problem for any group. We're talking about destroying a tank that costs millions of dollars. We're talking about doing it with something that costs $300. We're discussing causing many casualties in one day with something that costs $300. And for the enemy, it's hard to track where it's coming from. Imagine how Israel is going to track a guy who's 15 or 20 kilometers away controlling a drone through a cable. This is handmade. They are sold in pieces. They can be hidden anywhere. Sometimes they leave them for days, waiting for the moment to activate them. And actions there. There are some small Doppler radars that could still detect the presence of these drones or if they're approaching. But I repeat, in urban environments, they're useless. There are a lot of interference and signal reflections. It's very complicated. I said I was going to show you what the situation was like before the arrival of this type of threat, and we're going to see it, for example, not in Lebanon, so as not to endanger any operation. We're going to see it in Gaza. Yes, in Gaza. So that nobody gets nervous. It points to certain tactics, it gives people ideas. In Gaza, we have confirmation that they are using drones with cable. We can confirm this, but it's just an example to help people understand. What is the real level of stress? What are soldiers in Lebanon going through right now? Because it's very intense. This is the map of Gaza. We're going to one of the areas where there has been and still is the most fighting in the history of the Strip. Jabalia. Let's imagine that the IDF troops are fighting for hours in this sector. Then they leave it to get some rest to a security zone. For example, this one. They have their tanks there, and they feel a sense of security. Before, the danger was the tunnels that were right underneath, but now the danger is different. Let's imagine now. That from this place, from this part, a drone takes off. It goes through everything you see. It travels 6,000 meters to launch an attack against Israel. It's only 6,000 meters. And look at everything there is in those 6,000 meters between here and the troop. A lot. Buildings, fields, vegetation. Imagine that scenario. The one we just described, which is hypothetical, that hasn't happened yet in Gaza. We don't know if they have those systems. Picture yourselves in a place like this. Lebanon. Imagine a guy. He's in the city. Down here, sorry. We have left. Imagine a guy is in the city of Tyre. For example, from here. Launch a drone. And take it 30 kilometers away. What do we? Like for access. Imagine, as we have seen, a 60-kilometer journey Take, for example, this place under heavy Hezbollah attack, and we travel 60 kilometers. From Sidon. From Sidon, you can launch an attack right on Israel's doorstep. With this, I want you to understand the difficulty of the threat that Israel is facing right now. And that there's only one way to stop this. One is by completely destroying Hezbollah. But another is by designing systems that can stop those kinds of drones, those kinds of threats. What could it be? Well, there are things that have been invented, very rudimentary, but they seem to work. I'll see if I saved it around here. It caught my attention when I saw it. I've researched this topic. We're live, folks, by the way. And it's complicated. The way to stop this, or the way you can try to slow this down, I'm going to show it. Here's one. With a system that detects and can visually see the drone when it's approaching, detect it, and launch a charge against the drone, just like the trophy system does. Adapt the trophy system for this type of threat on the battlefield. That's one. Another option you have, but that one has a problem. These drones basically have the same radar signature as a bird. There's not much difference when a bird passes by or when this does. And another option is to put up barriers. And I mean it, barriers. Around those areas where the IDF soldiers are. For example, 100 meters from where a checkpoint is set up, or 150 meters, and place a wire. It's electrified, or it's generating heat to burn the wire. Or some blades. I've seen a video somewhere with some blades on a really long line spinning and turning, so that when the drone passes by, the cable gets cut. Otherwise, there's no other way. Take a look at this video. I just can't find any other way to put an end to this. People in Ukraine have already come up with everything, and they're still coming up with new things. Check out another video that's impressive. The Russians find a drone in Ukraine. They're carrying a shotgun as well. Notice that they're carrying a shotgun to shoot down drones. Assault rifles are no longer taken to the battlefield. Now they bring shotguns loaded with pellets. They find the drone. And they cut it. Just imagine the drone ready for an ambush. And they end up cutting it. Let's see how you fight against this. There's not much choice, huh? Deploying people with shotguns. They constantly watch for approaching drones. If you're lucky, you hit one. If not, you miss. It's complicated, huh? It's extremely complicated. Because the systems... Take a look at this video you're about to see. I'm looking for videos here so people can understand how difficult this is. And now we're moving on to the tunnels. It's very, very complicated. This information we're giving is public information. It doesn't put anyone in danger. This is already known. It's already been invented. Gunpowder has already been invented. We're not doing anything. Notice that this vehicle has an antenna so that radio frequency drones do encounter interferences and can't attack it. But the wired ones don't. And now look over here along the road, you can start to see the cable. The drone's cables. Look there at the drone's cables. They're passing through. And there's the drone. And you have to hit something that's moving fast and chasing you while you're in motion. And it's coming after you. And you're watching it. And it's getting close. And thank God, in this case, it crashed. That's what happened. They have thrown barbed wire nets. They have thrown they've put antennas or tubes around the vehicles. It's just that everything has already been tried. They've tried to do everything. And it doesn't work. And things are getting worse. Who sells all this? China. China is the one who sells all this stuff, is the one who produces this kind of fiber, and the one risking the whole operation. Let me tell you something else. You can't blame them for using these things. I mean, everyone uses what they have. They have found algo, manas that they can exploit. They're going to exploit it. How long are they going to exploit it? Probably for weeks. It's going to last them a long time. We don't know. I think there are options. Another option comes to mind, but I won't mention it since I haven't seen it elsewhere. But I'm not going to mention it. It will probably be put into action. Let's see what's happening in Lebanon. Brutal. This is brutal. Oh my God. There are volcanoes in northern Israel now. Underground Hezbollah base destroyed. What a video. The Air Force. Let's go see it. What is the Air Force doing with this? Here it is. Tunnels. Did you notice the tunnels? How do they destroy kilometers and kilometers of tunnels? Don't pay attention to this anymore. Another mega tunnel. And these are made of stone. Not in Gaza. Which are made of sand. Reinforced doors, stairways, pipes, bedrooms, operating room. They have everything. Impressive.
So the what? They were here just a day before we arrived. Before they're inside, they find all these weapons from Discover and find all the terrorist devices. And parents of terrorists are for... And this thing, instead of terrorist money on me in all kinds of places, soon it will go up the tunnel to the sky. Here you can see everything we removed from the rooms. Now everything here is already dirty. Even though we're walking on flat, level ground, the mountain itself rises upward. This is a mountain in Kantra, in the center of the village. It's a tunnel that's actually carved into the mountain in the middle of the village. And I believe this was made to protect the village as part of Hezbollah's defense. And the depth here keeps going down, meaning the mountain rises, like Lisaista and Cerro, and the branches here are already much bigger. The mountain here, we put it for work purposes, but these pipes, water pipes, can be used to maintain infrastructure over time. Tunnels for electricity, not bad infrastructure at all. This tunnel has been beautifully preserved for a long time and is well made.
Thank you. What we're seeing is incredible. And this is everywhere, huh? Notice that there's some information here for each one. It's about the topic of drones that we were looking at.
Let's watch this video first.
You'll be amazed by what I tell you.
We've already cleaned up. You can see kitchen utensils here on the right, things they actually cooked with, ate with, all kinds of tools like these so they could live here. You can also see electrical cabinets here, facilities. This is a very sophisticated tunnel facility, how it looks. All the water infrastructure here, basically you can see how there's still water inside, how they were able to move water and infrastructure within this place. Here we see an ascent to the shaft. You put lighting here, it's convenient to see. And these are basically rooms before the terrorists come out of the shaft. They have the ability to live here, prepare equipment, exit, and things like that. In every room, it's nice to see these ventilation openings here, which basically allow someone in the room to get air, get the infrastructure, get things.
Y aquí, they're showing the whole tunnel from the inside, Eldana, another one, and here...
In this space. Bridge like this, on each side.
Here.
אפשר לראות את הדלת, נקראת שוב נוצה וזה יגן על עצמו. פה בעצם יש יכולת
And these kinds of structures, which are also underground and super strong, are difficult to destroy.
He can go out whichever way he wants. He can go out from here, we can go out from here. The climb itself, the last one, come take a look. That's it, their tentish, their gloves. You can see the colored patch, we didn't put it here. And actually they were in the process of, you can see the door being painted here, more renovation work. This is one exit. אפשר לראות פה.
Alan, different rooms, different places. Hello?
פה זה יציאה עצמה למעלה של
Different exits. There are hatches to get out.
out into the city itself. And there were a few steps in this tall building. And the ability to get out of here, actually, they allow them to do that here.
And they are kilometer-long tunnels.
Just for security, they replaced the iron rods and the concrete reinforcement that was in the tunnel. This way, it strengthens the tunnel and makes it shorter.
The wall is reinforced with mesh.
And that's his example for Erupts.
Takatso, the wall. Notice that they even have to make their own map, or they have to make a map. Takatso. Because if you don't, you'll get lost.
Can I give a detail? Am I just going to explode from here? Okay. This is the Hezbollah. This is another room of the Hezbollah bandits.
The beds are here. Everything's here. Electricity.
All the targets you see here are targets that were here, and that will be here.
Water.
Water.
It's just amazing. About the earlier drone topic, there is an estimate in Ukraine. There is an estimate. Sorry, I'm looking for the video. For each kilometer of land on the battlefield. K2, there are no less than 2,900 kilometers of fiber optic cable. That too. I think that gives you the idea. And why will that change history? Because it will. And drastically so, because the buffer zone will no longer work. This buffer zone that Israel wants to set up, a 20, 25, or 30-kilometer zone will no longer work. This will no longer. Because the first thing those kinds of weapons will do is target the Iron Dome system's radars, for anti-aircraft radars, for observation posts, for troops passing through there. And this is serious. This is a serious problem. Taka do so. It's a very serious problem. Thank you for watching. And let's see what happens. Solution right now, shotguns. With shotguns. It's the only option. I'm pretty worried. And that's normal. Normal for us to be worried because there have already been casualties. Casualties are continuing, injured people. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen there or how they're going to handle it. Very serious. Very, very serious. What did Israel say? Has Israel still not made an official statement on this? The Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, said a little while ago, it's impossible to talk about peace in Lebanon without mentioning the word Hezbollah. Lebanon will not be able to talk about sovereignty as long as Hezbollah continues firing at Israeli citizens and operating without interruption. Right? Yes, we know that. There won't be a ceasefire. Or it's very unlikely there'll be a ceasefire there in a situation that at every level seems like it's going to escalate. There's going to be an escalation. Hezbollah is receiving weapons. Otherwise, they wouldn't have used these systems in the last war. They have already started doing it now. All of this added to the fact that this was happening today. Two drones were launched against Israel. Not those, but a different kind. The ones that are meant to attack cities and houses. That's it. Those are the ones the Iron Dome shoots down. Or they can be shot down more easily. But of course, that's the thing here. What do we do now with the soldier patrols, with the advances? Israel will have a big mess to deal with now with this matter. Hezbollah keeps firing. Hezbollah keeps firing and doing its thing. They don't care about the ceasefire right now. It doesn't matter to them. Vosotros? We're live on Military Strategies. Thanks for joining us. What about you? There's a lot to discuss, but today we have movie time. In the following program, we're going to look at the United States attack and break it down to another new ship in the Strait of Hormuz. The following program, we're going to devote it to the situation in Iran and how things stand right now. And what is being considered to further sink the Iranian economy. So, family, You'll be with us in a little while. We'll share more details soon. Best regards from Military Strategies, and thank you very much. Thanks for all the super chats. There are many. Thank you so much, family, for supporting our content. Thank you for being there with us. We have here Vito Sor Calderon. Thank you, Strategy, for your work. Your law, protection, and health are at stake. Trump must end this now. No time for pleasantries. Action is needed. Dice Jesse, pedir a thank you to the moderators. It's a lot to ask. It's complicated. Andrea, thank you very much. A small fishing net with floats around the edge. We have many options. We'll discuss them later. Family, thank you very much for joining us live, and we'll see you in the next program here on Military Strategies. Best regards.